The Galactic Council had convened once more, their vast chamber humming with the quiet energy of countless species gathered from every corner of the galaxy. Holographic projections floated mid-air, displaying data streams and visual feeds from far-flung systems. At the center of it all was a detailed rendering of a small, blue-green planet orbiting an unassuming yellow star. Earth. A representative of the Threxian species, tall and shimmering with bioluminescent patterns, addressed the council in a voice both melodic and stern. The findings are irrefutable. The humans, these peculiar bipeds, reside dangerously close to an unstable G-class star. Their system is a ticking time bomb, yet they persist. Ripples of disbelief spread through the council. A scaled Zenthari leaned forward, its multiple eyes blinking in confusion. They live next to a star prone to solar flares, radiation bursts, and eventual catastrophic collapse. And they do nothing to escape. Another alien, a gelatinous being named Olorix, quivered in shock. Do they not comprehend the danger? Have they no instinct for survival? Such recklessness defies logic. The room filled with murmurs, voices echoing the same sentiment. Species who had long mastered the art of planetary relocation couldn't fathom why any intelligent civilization would willingly stay in harm's way. Stars were powerful but unpredictable entities. No sane species built their homes so close to one without contingencies. Amid the clamor, Vithran, a wiry, inquisitive representative of the Calirians, raised a slender limb to speak. Perhaps, their ignorance is to blame. Humans may lack the advanced stellar knowledge we take for granted. We must intervene before their recklessness leads to their extinction. The Threxian nodded gravely. It is our responsibility, as stewards of this galaxy, to guide less advanced species away from self-destruction. A projection flickered into view a detailed analysis of the sun's activity. Data scrolled rapidly, highlighting coronal mass ejections, solar winds, and magnetic disruptions that could wreak havoc on any planet within range. The council grew silent, the danger unmistakable. "This is madness," muttered a feathered Avanthe. "They're gambling with their existence." But Vithran's curiosity only deepened. He leaned closer to the projection, studying the peculiarities of the human race. Despite the data, humanity thrived on this precarious planet, adapting to conditions that would annihilate most species. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "there is more to these humans than meets the eye. Ignorance alone cannot explain their survival." The council deliberated, their conclusion unanimous. An emissary group, led by Vithran, would be dispatched to Earth to deliver a dire warning. Preparations began immediately, but even as the chamber emptied, Vithran remained behind, staring at the holographic image of Earth. There was something about these humans, a stubborn defiance against the odds. While others saw foolishness, Vithran suspected there was a deeper truth hidden beneath their actions. Whatever the answer, he intended to find it. For better or worse, humanity's proximity to the sun was a mystery begging to be unraveled. The emissaries arrived in Earth's orbit, their sleek, shimmering vessel cloaked in advanced technology that defied human detection. Despite their initial skepticism, the Galactic Council's directive was clear: warn the humans of their perilous situation and, if possible, guide them toward relocation. Through careful observation, the emissaries detected humanity's signals, broadcasts of light, sound, and information pulsating through the void. They watched in fascination as humans communicated with each other across the globe, unaware of the alien presence overhead. Their messages were filled with creativity, humor, and an unmistakable zest for life. It was a stark contrast to the grim task at hand. When contact was finally made, humanity's reaction was as unpredictable as the aliens had come to expect. Instead of panic or fear, there was excitement. Leaders and scientists from Earth eagerly assembled to meet the emissaries, their expressions a blend of curiosity and cautious optimism. Vithran, leading the mission, was immediately struck by their energy. These were not beings burdened by existential dread. They seemed alive in a way he hadn't anticipated. The emissaries began their warning, projecting holographic visuals of the sun's activity and the potential catastrophes that could ensue. They explained the dangers with meticulous detail: solar flares that could cripple technology, radiation bursts capable of rendering the planet uninhabitable, and the eventual death of the star itself. The humans listened patiently, nodding along as if the information was already familiar to them. When the presentation concluded, a human astrophysicist named Dr. Elena Carter stepped forward with a calm smile. "We appreciate your concern," she said. "But we're well aware of the sun's behavior. In fact, we've been studying it for centuries." Her response left the emissaries momentarily stunned. "You know?" Vithran asked, his voice laced with disbelief. "Of course," Dr. Carter replied. "We've mapped its cycles, predicted its storms, and developed technologies to protect ourselves. Solar flares. We have shielding systems. Radiation. We've got advanced materials and monitoring networks. The sun is dangerous, sure, but it's also the reason we're alive. It gives us light, warmth, and energy. Without it, we wouldn't exist." The room fell silent as the aliens processed her words. To them, the sun was a ticking time bomb. To humans, it was a partner in survival. "But why stay?" Vithran pressed. "Why not move to a safer system, away from the risk?" A middle-aged human, clad in a worn engineer's jumpsuit, chuckled softly. "Because that's not who we are. Humanity doesn't run from challenges, we face them. The sun isn't just a danger to us, it's a reminder of what we're capable of overcoming. Every time it flares, we learn. Every time it pushes us, we adapt. It's part of what makes us, us." Vithran exchanged glances with his fellow emissaries, who were clearly as perplexed as he was. But beneath his confusion, he felt a growing sense of admiration. The humans weren't ignoring the risks. They had simply chosen to embrace them, turning danger into opportunity. It was a perspective unlike anything he had encountered in the galaxy. A sudden surge of solar activity lit up the Galactic emissaries' monitors. The sun, calm moments ago, was now unleashing a massive coronal mass ejection aimed directly at Earth. Vithran's team watched in horror as streams of plasma and charged particles sped toward the planet. Calculations flashed on their displays: Earth's magnetic field would be overwhelmed. The emissaries assumed the worst: technological collapse, widespread destruction, and societal chaos. "We must intervene," Vithran said urgently, turning to his human counterparts. "This solar storm will devastate your planet. We can provide immediate evacuation for key population centers. There's no time to waste." But instead of panic, the humans remained focused. A scientist glanced at the readouts and nodded calmly. "It's a strong one, no doubt, but we've handled storms like this before. We'll activate the protocols." "Protocols?" one of the alien emissaries echoed, their voice thick with disbelief. "This storm exceeds even our safety thresholds. Your species cannot possibly withstand." "Watch and see," the human interrupted, a small smile tugging at the corners of their mouth. Across Earth, systems activated in a synchronized effort that left the emissaries stunned. Satellites were placed into safe modes, critical infrastructures rerouted energy away from vulnerable areas, and power grids began rapid redistribution to prevent cascading failures. In underground bunkers and remote command centers, teams of engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, monitoring the storm's impact and adjusting their responses in real time. Vithran and his team observed it all from orbit, their shock deepening with every passing moment. Humanity wasn't running or collapsing under the pressure. They were fighting back with precision and coordination. At ground level, civilians played their part, too. In regions where power flickered, communities rallied together, sharing resources and keeping morale high. Schools became temporary shelters, farmers used solar-resistant equipment to protect crops, and local leaders issued clear, reassuring updates. It wasn't chaos, it was resilience in action. "Your people, they're not afraid?" Vithran asked Dr. Carter during a brief moment of calm. "Fear doesn't get you very far," she replied with a shrug. "We've lived through worse. Sure, the sun's dangerous, but it's not the enemy. It's a challenge we've learned to work with. That's just what humans do." The storm peaked, hammering Earth's magnetosphere. Power outages rippled across continents, but no collapse came. Systems rerouted, backups engaged, and the damage was contained. Within hours, the worst had passed. Vithran's team was speechless. By all calculations, the storm should have been catastrophic. Yet here was humanity, battered but intact, their world still turning. "You planned for this," Vithran finally said. "Of course we did," Dr. Carter replied with a grin. "The sun's been throwing storms at us for millions of years. It's a part of life. We wouldn't be here if we hadn't learned to adapt." For the first time, Vithran understood. Humanity didn't just endure danger, they thrived in it, their ingenuity fueled by the very forces others would flee from. It wasn't recklessness. It was mastery. The solar storm had passed, leaving Earth relatively unscathed. The emissaries, still processing what they had witnessed, gathered with human leaders for a final discussion. They expected exhaustion or even smugness from the humans, but instead, they found them energized, already analyzing data from the storm and planning improvements for future defenses. Vithran addressed the group, his tone hesitant yet curious. "Your planet faced a force that would have obliterated most civilizations. And yet, you persevered. No, you thrived. I don't understand. What drives you to stay in the shadow of such constant danger?" An older human engineer leaned forward, his voice calm but resolute. "Because the sun is more than a threat to us. It's a teacher, a challenge, and a partner. It pushes us to be better. If we ran from it, we'd lose what makes us who we are." Another human chimed in, their tone laced with a quiet pride. "Every advancement we've made, our energy systems, our technology, even our understanding of life itself, came from working with the sun. We don't see it as an enemy. It's part of our story." Vithran exchanged glances with his team. In their culture, danger was something to avoid at all costs. The idea of coexisting with it, let alone embracing it, was unthinkable. Yet here were humans, thriving on the edge of catastrophe, their very identity shaped by their proximity to destruction. "Your species," Vithran began carefully, "approaches life in a way that defies logic. Most civilizations seek safety and stability. You seem to embrace uncertainty. Why?" A young scientist smiled. "Because nothing grows in complete safety. Life is risk. Innovation is risk. If we avoided danger, we'd still be huddled in caves, hiding from the dark. The sun might be dangerous, but it's also the reason we exist. It's worth the risk." The room fell silent, the weight of those words settling over the emissaries. For beings who had always prioritized security and predictability, the human perspective was revolutionary. When the emissaries returned to the Galactic Council, Vithran delivered his report. "The humans are not reckless," he said firmly. "They are resourceful. Where others see danger, they see opportunity. They do not merely survive near their star, they thrive because of it. They've turned what we would call a threat into the foundation of their existence." The council was divided. Some dismissed humanity's philosophy as reckless arrogance, but others saw it as a testament to their unique strength. Vithran, however, remained resolute. He had witnessed humanity's ingenuity, their resilience, and their unshakable spirit. As their ship departed Earth's orbit, Vithran gazed at the planet one last time. The sun hung in the distance, its fiery surface roiling with energy. Yet, to the humans below, it wasn't a harbinger of doom, it was a source of life and endless possibility. For the first time, Vithran understood. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or even their adaptability. It was their unyielding ability to find meaning and purpose in the face of the universe's greatest challenges.